It's more interesting when you go to the city level. So we build a city model that you break down. Again, the same logic. In cities, you get everything. Even every big city has rich people, middle class and poor. Thriving cities need everything and make ideally poor people richer. What I didn't realize, and I lived in Nairobi, I know Cape Town and Johannesburg quite well, that Egypt is so dominant in terms of urban. Obviously, Egypt is a super urban country, but Cairo outperforms everybody. We have a unique way to capture a city because it's not just the administrative border, it's not only what the mayor is responsible for, but it's somehow the all surrounding, including the suburbs, as long as it's high density area. And that's more relevant for an e-banks, for a retail business. Doesn't matter where the city border is. But this is not where they are. This is the growth number for the next 10 years, where Cairo and then interestingly Alexandria comes number 2 before Lagos. And you see the rest of the cities in Africa that have that momentum, the combination of demographic, economic, but also urbanization momentum. What you can do if you then use the data is to break down where are these future consumers, how old they are, and are they rather on the lower middle class side or the upper. And so here's 2 key insights. So that's consumer class growth. So Egypt is 54 million now. So every second Egyptian is also, Egypt is a bit a reflection of the world. Half is on the good side, half on the other side. It will grow to 76 million in the next 10 years. So where's the growth? It's a mixed story. Growth is everywhere. But the entry level is have the biggest numbers. They have 8 million out of this delta, but every group, so you can cater to every group. This is the lower middle class, those who have a motorcycle, those who go to a restaurant, those who have a car, and those who do travel, right? That's a bit in a simple way to think of those segments of consumers. But then here's the opposite. You see the rich obviously spend more. So it's a mixed story. So the numbers will still be on the lower end in terms of people, but the numbers in terms of the money is more on the upper end. But you can still make money everywhere. And sometimes people graduate, obviously, from one level to the other. So that's how you could think through the data and segment it. Now let's come to my last part, which hopefully is a transition to you, Eduardo, because about your sector, and which is close to my heart, given I've lived through it in Kenya. And there is something Egypt is doing very poorly, which is banking people and providing access to finance. In most countries in the world, everybody in the middle class is banked, completely banked, and even more. And I'll show you in a minute. Egypt is the opposite. It's not according to the latest numbers, and I use the Findex numbers here, and we projected them forward. You have this large gap of people, and it's in the normal projection, and maybe e-banks will change that equation. It's not even closing much. There's some growth. You see from below 30% to above 30% in the next 5 years, 6 years. But still, the middle class is also growing, so there should be some catch-up, and not just a little, riding that mini wave. You should ride the big wave in Egypt. So here is my final analytical slide to think through the potential. So if I take again those who have been banked in Egypt, and assume, it's a conservative assumption, so to say, that we start from the rich. The rich are banked. That's somewhat obvious, and you go down. And if you do that going down, you get actually everybody at $1.36 in Egypt being banked. And so I'm combining the financial sector data with our model. That's one of the worst thresholds in the world, actually. If you just would go down to the middle class threshold, you get almost the same. Those who have been included and not included, you get 21 million compared to 19, and you have almost like a low-hanging fruit of 19 million extra.